From Nicaragua, we took a boat across that bay to the brown country there of El Salvador. And we only had 5 days in El Salvador, so we landed at La Union, there the right-hand one. We took a bus over to San Salvador, spent a few days there in the capital, and then we went to another bus up north to Santa Ana, stayed there a couple nights, where we got to see a soccer game, and took just a day trip to Tazumal, the archaeological site.
When we were in the main city of San Salvador in El Salvador, we went to the Central Square, which had many big buildings such as this ancient church thingy-majig, and a library, which was recently built by the Chinese. And it was very cool. You can see the Chinese sign. And at night, it had these little lights on the outside, which was really nice. We also got a picture with the Chinese flag in the background because they built the library, so they had to put their flag up. In the library, there was a whole bunch of different floors and sections. This was the children's section. This was, I think, also the children's section. This was the superhero section. This was Harry Potter section. And then there was a downstairs too where there was a cafe where we ate at. And we went on a very nice tour in the palace.
We are having a tour of the National Palace in El Salvador, which is in San Salvador. Here's the main square. That amazing building is the library, which was built by the Chinese. And if you look very carefully, there's a Chinese flag there flying in front of it. This is the Centro Histórico. There's the main church. We are in the palace. You can see they're getting ready for Christmas. And this is an amazing building built in between 1905 and 1911. By 1931, some parts of the government started moving out of it for more space, but it was used by parts of the government until 1974. Here you can see the original paint layer. They had to dig down 12 layers of paint to get to that original, and then this side is the reconstructed imitation so that you can get an idea. There's 105 rooms, and it's all built around this central courtyard, which has araucaria trees in it. Has different styles of architecture, Renaissance, Baroque. These are pillars, forget the name. And we have a lovely tour guide, Madeleine, who's telling us all about it.
It was neat being in this building and imagining how the government was working. In this room, they actually ran Congress and had press areas up behind where the photos have been taken from. And these are the famous araucaria trees, one for each Latin American country.
The next day, after a painful taxi drive through San Salvador and then a bus to Santa Ana, we watched a soccer game. And this was one of the defensemen for the Santa Ana team, and we got a photo with him. And here was the stands. Mom was lucky enough to capture a couple of the very, very few people who actually weren't wearing soccer jerseys. Unfortunately, the other team scored, but They caught our reaction on national television. I guess it pays to be the only foreigners.
The day after the game, we took a day trip to Tazumal, an archaeological site, which is El Salvador's most prominent Maya ruin. They found some artifacts here that suggest that the Mayans had an extensive trade network throughout their kingdom and their civilization. And another key feature of this site is that they think there's a ball game court that's not yet excavated because it's under a current day cemetery. But the ball game is apparently the oldest organized sport in the world. If you're interested, I'll put a link to a YouTube video that's really interesting. It explains all about it. The Mayan civilization extended just into El Salvador. Tazumal is there at the northern edge of El Salvador. Here is a picture of the ranges of these civilizations. The green is the Maya. They're the oldest, from 200 to 900 AD, or current era. And then the Aztecs came later. They're the purple ones, around 1521, just before the Spanish. And the Inca were also before the Spanish, so about the same time as the Aztecs. And they were, 1400, and then the Spanish came.
Although close to San Salvador, the capital, this place was pretty quiet on the day we were there, which was so nice for us, as we got to clamber around some parts of it and feel like what it was like climbing up and down those old stone stairs. And that was it for El Salvador. Short but sweet. We got picked up at 3:45 in the morning for a nighttime bus ride over the border, which you can see behind Grayson here, and we were into Guatemala. It was a great time in El Salvador.